Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video in Azure Data Factory playlist. So today we are going to see what is self-hosted integration runtime in Azure Data Factory. So in our previous video we have discussed about what is integration runtime in Azure Data Factory and how it is helpful in Azure Data Factory. So if you haven't seen the video, I highly recommend you to watch the video so you can understand this video better. So let us get into the video. So, what is a self-hosted integration runtime? So, in Azure Data Factory, integration runtime provides you the computing infrastructure to perform your data movement or data transformation activities. So, there are three main active integration runtimes available in Azure Data Factory, which is Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime, Self-Hosted Integration Runtime, and Azure SSIS Integration Runtime. So, Azure Self-hosted integration runtime is particularly useful to provide the computing infrastructure for your on-premise server or your private networks. So this self-hosted integration runtime plays a bridge between your on-premise servers to the cloud platforms to maintain your data movement or data orchestration securely. So you need to provision the self-hosted integration runtime with your machine that you are going to perform the data movement activities. So auto resolved integration runtime is defaultly available in Azure Data Factory when you install an EDF, but we need to install and configure the self-hosted integration runtime for our Azure Data Factory manually. So once you download and install the self-hosted integration runtime in your machine, you can access the on-premise server along with your cloud services, and you can perform the data movements securely. So let us see the installation of self-hosted integration runtime. So first you need to download the self-hosted integration from runtime. So you can download the self-hosted integration runtime from the Azure portal itself. So from there you can download the file and you need to install that in your local machine. So if you are going to perform your data transformation and data orchestration in your own local machine, you need to download and provision in your local machine. If it is a VM, you need to download the self-hosted integration runtime in the particular VM. And once you have downloaded and installed, you need to configure it with your Azure Data Factory. So in Azure Data Factory portal, when you download the self-hosted integration runtime, they have provided keys for configuring the self-hosted integration runtime with your Azure Data Factory. So you can use those keys to provision your self-hosted integration runtime to your particular Azure Data Factory. So once you have downloaded and installed, you need to configure it with Azure Data Factory so you can access the self-hosted integration runtime in your ADF components. And to perform data movement through self-hosted integration runtime, you must ensure that the self-hosted integration runtime is in a running state. So while it may be in update state or in a stopped state, so when a data movement has happening with the help of self-hosted integration runtime, it must be in a running state so it can access the on-premise server through securely with the help of self-hosted integration runtime. So once you have downloaded, installed and configured with your Azure Data Factory, so you can access the on-premise server to your cloud securely with the help of self-hosted integration runtime. So let us see the cost comparison for Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime to the self-hosted integration runtime. So to perform orchestration, nothing but the activities, you may charge up to $1 per 1000 runs, and in self-hosted integration runtime it might be $1.5 per 1000 runs, and for data movement activities you may charge up to $0.25 per hour in auto resolve integration runtime, and it might be $0.10 per hour for self-hosted integration runtime. And in pipeline activities you may charge up to $0.005 per hour, and in auto resolve integration runtime, so for the self-hosted integration runtime it would be 0.002 per hour. And there might be certain pipeline activities that can be an external sources, which can be cost up to $0.00025 per hour in Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime and $0.001 per hour in the self-host integration runtime. So you can check the cost comparison from the Azure documentation itself. So you can calculate the cost based on these available resources that are using with your Auto Resolve Integration Runtime or self-hosted IR. So here we can see some of the prerequisites available for installing and configuring self-hosted integration runtime in your machine. So you may require a Windows with 8, 10 or 11, or if a Windows server with 2012, 2012 or to 2016, 2019 or 2022 if you are going to use it in a virtual machine. So you may require a 64-bit OS and along with .NET framework with 4.7.2 version, and you may need a machine with 2 GHz processor and with 4 core, 8 GB RAM and a minimum available hard disk space of 80 GB. And if you need to access the self-hosted integration runtime through your pipeline activities, it must be in a running state in whatever the machine that you have installed it. You may also require a Java runtime environment JRE with version 11, which is highly helpful for you to maintain the copy activity using Parquet files. So Parquet is nothing but a columnar compressed file format available in Azure, which has been easily compressed in small format, and it is more fast compared to CSV or Excel files. So to use those Parquet files, you may need to install the JRE in the particular machine that you are going to access. So these are some of the prerequisites available for installing and configuring the self-hosted integration runtime in your machine. Before installing this, you may need to verify all these prerequisites, so the data movement from your on-premise to the cloud will be successful through the help of self-hosted integration runtime. So let us see the live demonstration of how to create, download and install and configure the self-hosted integration runtime in your machine. So let us get into the Azure portal and start the demo. So here I have login to my Azure portal. So let us get into the data factories. Let me navigate to the data factory that we have created in our previous video. So we can click launch studio to launch the Azure data factory. So here I have login to my Azure portal. So let us navigate to the data factories. Let me select the data factory that we have created in our previous videos. Let me click launch studio. This will automatically takes me to the Azure data factory portal. So here I have logged to my Azure data factory portal. So in this you can see the manage tab available in your right hand side. So we can navigate to that. You can find the integration runtime available over here. Here you can find the Azure Auto Resolve Integration Runtime available for you, which is in a running state. So this is the default integration runtime provided by Azure Data Factory. Whenever you install an Azure Data Factory, it will automatically provide you with this auto resolve integration runtime. This is very much helpful for you to connect with the Azure resources or any other cloud platforms. So to access the on-premise servers and environment, we may require a secure connection, that is the self-hosted integration runtime. So quickly let us create the self-hosted integration runtime by downloading and configuring this. So here under the integration runtimes, you can see the new button. You can just click on this. It will displays you with two different items. One is the Azure or self-hosted integration runtime, and another is the Azure SSIS integration runtime. So let us go with Azure self-hosted integration runtime. So here you can see the Azure integration runtime and self-hosted integration runtime. So let us click on the self-hosted integration runtime and continue. So here you need to provide the name for your self-hosted integration runtime. Let me provide us self-hosted IR. So it will validate the name, and once it is validated, you can see the type is of self-hosted, and let us create this. So once you click on the create button, you can see you can verify the name of your self-hosted integration runtime, and they have provided with two options. One is the express setup, and the option 2 is the manual setup. So if you choose manual setup, you need to download the file they have provided, and once the file has been downloaded, you need to install the integration runtime in your machine. Once the installation has been completed, you need to provide any of the keys available for you over here to configure the integration runtime with your particular Azure Data Factory. So in this step, you need an additional setup to configure the integration runtime. You need to copy any of these keys, and once the installation has been completed, you need to configure manually. So here you have an express setup. Through this express setup, you don't need to provide any configurations. Automatically ADF will provide all the configurations and just install the integration runtime for you. So let us just click on this express setup. So this will automatically downloads the self-hosted IR, and once it is downloaded, you can just click and open this. And click yes. So the installation will get started. So it will download the file for you. Once it is downloaded, it will install the integration runtime in your machine, and once it is installed, it will be registered with your Azure Data Factory, and then you can use it in your ADF. Once it has been installed, it will be automatically configured by the express setup. So let us just close this. So here you can see now I have is another integration runtime available for me, which is of type self-hosted, and it is currently in the running state. So now I can use this self-hosted integration runtime to connect to my on-premise server and FTPs, file shares, and all those private networks with this help of self-hosted integration runtime. So I hope this will be helpful for you. You have understood what is self-hosted integration runtime and how to install and configure it in your machine. If you like this video, share with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you can get the notification whenever I upload the video. Thank you for watching.